welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Remember, the markets have been facing a difficult day throughout the trading session so far. A lot of choppiness has gone through. They have come off the day's low point, but the Nifty is still about 100 points lower in trade. What do you really make of the kind of move that we've been seeing on the downward side for the markets? Can it delve deeper? Can we see deeper bouts of correction now happening on the markets? What is the ideal strategy that you as a retail investor should now be adopting for the markets right now? We'll ask you that, we'll ask the experts that, and we'll also help you really understand more about the upcoming Tata Technologies IPO as well, and what opportunity does it bring to the shareholders of Tata Motors, because Tata Technologies is a subsidiary of Tata Motors, and also for fresh retail investors. An IPO after nearly 2 decades, what does it really mean for you? We'll discuss all of that too. Right now, the market's half odd percent lower in trade at 19,427, so back above the 19,400 mark. The Nifty Bank has also tried to recover a little bit, but still about 1% lower in trade, 43,933 for the Nifty Bank. Which is the sector that's helping slight recovery coming in for the markets from the lowest point? It's the IT stocks and the FMCG space. Both these indices have now sprung themselves into the green. And the heavyweight IT names, TCS, HCL Technologies and Infosys, these are kind of helping the markets recover from the day's low point as well. Sectorally, PSU banks remain the weakest link today, 2.7% lower in trade, followed by the realty space, healthcare, the broader markets, the Nifty mid and the small cap as well, and the auto space that are down by over 1% in today's trade as well. As part of the losing action, the stocks that are on the top losers list for the Nifty, you have Axis Bank that continues to be a 4% downtick right now. NTPC, State Bank of India, IndusInd Bank, Ultratech Cement and Maruti Suzuki, the other laggards at this point in time. So it's financials, PSU banks, private banks, as well as some auto names that are dragging the street at this point. More and more stocks are trying to recover from their day's low point. The broader markets, especially the Nifty 500 basket, continues to see some move on the Adani Group stocks. Adani Wilmar, Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, all of them buzzing in trade in an otherwise muted set of the market. Let's get our guest on the show. Mr. Ambarish Balika joins in, market expert. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. First up, your take on the markets overall, the dips that we've been seeing. Is this the beginning of deeper corrections after the 4 months of a rally that we've seen for the markets, or do you think this will be another opportunity that investors should be buying into and the markets will spring back again?
In fact, the last month and a half, I've been talking of a correction which was overdue because the markets had got expensive. When I say expensive, I'm talking more on the mid cap and the small cap space of the market, where the valuations had become quite expensive, and there was a lot of exuberance because the stocks had become multi-baggers in the last couple of months, not last couple of years, but last couple of months we had so many stocks becoming multi-baggers. So I think this was overdue. And I suppose the reasons could be quite a few because there are a lot of red flags on the horizon. The first one is the oil prices, which are moving up. Possibly we could see closer to $100 quite soon. And secondly, we'll surely have a Fed rate hike before the end of the calendar year. And that's negative for the emerging economies because money would flow out. At the same time, possibly we could see the rupee weakening a bit more because of that. Number three would be the earnings for Q2, because the way the markets had moved up, clearly the expectations are decently high for Q2. So possibly there could be some disappointment. But last not the least would be the election season, because now we'll have elections in a couple of states. And by May next year, we'll have the general elections. So when we move closer to the elections, clearly the sort of uncertainty increases. And markets typically do not like uncertainty. And closer to elections, unless there is a very clear trend, we will have the markets being more volatile and slightly cautious. So I think all these things would be playing out. And because of which I don't see the markets moving up from here. We could see bounce backs because we've seen a correction. You'll see some bounce backs. But technically, 19,500 was a very good support for the market. That's been broken. So I think we should be heading lower.
Okay. Let's also focus on the other news point, and that is one of the most awaited IPOs on the street. Tata Technologies now seems to be getting closer to its launch, and that's got
Right.
all the viewers excited and investors looking out for this opportunity. I want to begin by understanding from you. Tata Motors, the subsidiary Tata Technologies, has now said that it will offer 9.5 crore shares in this planned IPO. It will be a complete offer for sale, and Tata
Right.
Motors will be looking to sell 8.1 crore shares via this offer for sale. Alpha TC and Tata Capital Growth Fund will be the other two players that will be offloading some shares as part of the OFS. The company has also now reserved quota for employees of 0.5% and Tata Motors shareholders to the tune of 10% as well.
Right.
First up, an IPO from Tata Group stable after nearly 2 decades. What does it really mean as an opportunity for the larger, group of retail investors?
I think this is a much awaited IPO. We've been hearing about this for quite a while, and now I think we have recently close to opening of that IPO. So, I mean, after nearly 2 decades, like you rightly said, that we have seen a Tata, we are seeing a Tata IPO. So, I suppose, the response will be extremely good because nowadays, for most of the IPOs, we are seeing very decent response. But I think for this Tata Group company, it'll be great. Like irrespective of where the markets are, even if we see the markets going lower from here, I think the response should be extremely good.
Okay. On the details of the IPO, we just know that it is going to be a complete offer for sale. But I
Right.
wanted to understand from you, since Tata Motors shareholders are getting this 10% reservation, should one start looking at investing in Tata Motors right ahead of the IPO? Is that a good approach?
Yeah, it will make sense because as a shareholder, even if you are holding one share, you become a shareholder of Tata Motors. So and because of which you'll be eligible for the shareholder quota. So it really makes sense to at least buy something in Tata Motors and become a shareholder and apply for it. And again, just remember that this will not be a duplicate application because one can apply as a shareholder as also the same person can apply as a public. So a person can put in two applications.
Absolutely. So two applications is what. But should one definitely look out for this opportunity? And can it be an equivalent wealth creating opportunity like we have seen from Tata Group in the past? The last IPO that we had seen was of TCS, which has been a very well compounding stock for investors. Could
Right.
it be of the similar tune, or would it not be that big an opportunity?
No, it's just not TCS. I mean, you look at all the Tata Group stocks. I mean, they've been very investor friendly, and the sort of wealth which they have created for the shareholders is immense. So I don't see Tata Technologies to be any different. But again, one should have a slightly long-term view, buy and possibly hold for the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay. And also wanted to ask you, what would this IPO really mean for Tata Motors? The stock has really performed very well on the markets last 6 months, 1 year perspective. It's been one of the best performers on the Nifty. Would this new IPO getting launched provide an added on fillip to Tata Motors shares as well?
Sentimentally positive, but looking at the market cap of Tata Motors may not really add too much. But then I think it is sentimentally positive because they'll continue holding part of the shares.
How soon do you expect this IPO to getting launched on the D Street?
I don't know because if you asked me 4 months back, I would have told you possibly in a month, month and a half. But now I
Yeah.
think with these announcements, I think we are decently close. So hopefully in the next 15 to 30 days.
Wow. Okay. And with this new IPO now, there would be three companies from Tata Group, which would be tech focused largely. TCS, the
Right.
software outsourcing firm. We also have Tata Elxsi and now Tata Technologies. How would
Right.
each be different from each other? And how should retail investors now be approaching each of these stocks?
No, TCS is completely different. I mean, they are completely into software,
Yeah.
whereas Tata Technologies is going to be is basically into product development and digital solutions, which also includes turnkey solutions, and they are catering basically to automotive and aerospace. So, if you compare all these three, I would say Tata Elxsi is decently closer to Tata Technologies as compared to TCS.
Okay, got that as well. It is going to be a Tata Group's IPO, has to be a bigger size as well. Any idea of any fair valuations that one can expect from here? Any price band ideas that one could look at?
No, I mean, as of now, I would like to speculate that because I think let that get announced. It's difficult to speculate on that right now. But
Okay,
once
what
it's announced,
exactly? Yeah.
possibly we can talk on the valuation front.
Absolutely. But what exactly would you be really looking on from the management side as a clarity for before the IPO really comes about?
See, basically, I mean, what happens is, we have seen this in the past also that the Tata Group has been very fair with the shareholders. So I'm quite sure that they'll be leaving enough on the table for the shareholders who'll be coming in right now. And I suppose even on listing, one should be able to make, I mean, extremely good gains. But like I said earlier, I think one should hold on for long term and not really look at listing gains.
All right, so that's about the Tata Tech IPO that you can expect largely, Mr. Balika, from the overall markets perspective, since you did say the markets could see some more dips coming about and the correction was long awaited as well. If the markets were to correct, some more from the current levels, what would you be looking at buying, or would you largely stay away?
No, I would surely look at buying opportunities, and especially in case I see markets closer to about 18,500 levels, which I believe it can happen over a period of time. If that happens, clearly I would be looking to buy, and I would buy into, sectors like automotive, specialty chemicals, cement. I think these are the couple of sectors which I'll buy into. And IT is the other space where I'm keeping a close watch. Maybe post the earnings, we could see a further dip. And I think, one should utilize that to buy into IT, again, from a longer term perspective.
So, sir, on IT especially, we've actually seen the mid-cap IT firms really outperform the larger ones in the near term in the last 5-6 odd months. Is that likely to continue to outperform as well, or should one now look at, better valuations perhaps in the blue chip IT firms?
I think one should now start looking at the blue chip IT firms because most of the mid caps which have performed have actually outperformed very well. And from here on, that outperformance may not be there. I would surely look at a decent bounce back in the blue chip IT stocks. But still, like I said, let's wait for the earnings. Post that, we could see some dip. And that is a buying opportunity into the blue chip IT stocks.
Right. And lastly, sir, you did point out about the earnings that will be the next trigger for the markets. What is your overall expectations of this quarter? Any particular sectors that you believe are likely to outperform? Where should investors' focus continue to be?
No, I think that would be a negative trigger for the markets. Like I said, the expectations are high, and possibly we could see some disappointments. But the sector which I see possibly outperforming is auto and cement. That's one of the reasons why I
Sure.
said I would be investing in those. But if you look at metals, I think we could see underperformance. If you look at IT, we could see underperformance from a short-term perspective. So I think these are the things to be careful about.
All right, understood that. Well, many thanks, Mr. Bariga, for being with us on the show and discussing all these wonderful insights with all our viewers. Always a pleasure having you with us on Business Today Television. Let's get back to the markets and see how are they trading at this point. About 88 points of a loss still remains on the Nifty, 19,440 odd levels coming in, 0.4% of the decline. So definitely much better than the low point of the day. The markets are pulling up fast from the lowest point, and only the IT sector and the FMCG sector, these are the sectors that are helping the markets pull up. Of course, the Adani Group stocks are in favor today. Now, Nestle, HUL kind of stocks are pulling up in the markets. Britannia is up in trade. And from the IT basket, you have TCS, you have Tata Technologies and Infosys, all three big heavyweight blue chip IT firms that are doing very well in the markets as well. Eicher Motors continues to pull up as well in the overall market scenario too. But looks like we are headed for a close in the red. We're just about 15 minutes away from the day's close, but definitely better off from the lowest point of the day. We'll continue to watch out for what are the triggers that the markets will continue to react to, and what is the strategy that you as an investor must follow from here on. All of that coming up on Business Today TV. So don't forget to continue to stay on with us. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and also continue to engage with us on our other social media platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn and Instagram.